Hi, you guys. I'm Martha, someone that you may already know from our interactions online, and I'm going to be sharing with you a technique that I learned from my therapist, Dave Ebow, a licensed clinical social worker with 30 years of experience. Dave is trained in eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, also known as EMDR. And he's also a certified clinician in accelerated resolution therapy, ART. He's done over 800 of these sessions, which I am now going to share with you. So this process uses eye movements, and I'm just going to demonstrate with my eyes open. I like to do it with my eyes closed, but if I do that, you can't see it. However, if for some reason you don't like doing it with your eyes, you can use what's called the butterfly tapping technique. So it's important that you interlace your thumbs and you're going to be tapping your fingers on your clavicle. And it's important to switch right to left, right to left. The same thing that you'd be doing with your eyes. Back and forth, okay? So there's going to be a metronome sound. The one I have is really stubborn about turning on. There you go. So as you're moving your eyes back and forth to the sound of the metronome, I want you to think of a fear or a stressor that you're feeling right now during the age of COVID. For example, you may be worried about you or yourself, you or your family becoming ill. You may be worried about money issues, and you also may be getting claustrophobic, being stuck in your house or your apartment. So the way this process works is the first time around, you are going to be, as you're moving your eyes back and forth or doing the butterfly tapping, I want you to be thinking of any fear, whatever comes to mind. I mean, you might be starting to think about it now, of any fear or stressor that you are feeling in these days. And for example, when I did this exercise, the first thing I felt was claustrophobia, not being able to move around the city as I would like. I mean, back and forth to the grocery store doesn't quite do it. And you'll be thinking about that stressor for 30 seconds approximately with the sound of the metronome going. And it doesn't matter if your eyes are open or closed, but like I said, I personally prefer closed. The reason for this, or even just the tapping back and forth with the alternate hands, is that the movement is similar to what goes on during REM sleep. When we're dreaming and we're in a certain level of deep sleep, our eyes are moving back and forth, as you may well know. And at that time, your brain is very open to creative thinking and imagery. So this is a good time when you're thinking about the stressor, like for me, claustrophobia. I just all of a sudden, I mean, I've been doing this for a year, so I do have the hang of it, but all of a sudden I imagined what I felt was being constrained and wrapped up, by a python, and that I couldn't breathe and I couldn't move. Now, I know that that part's going to go on for just 30 seconds and then it stops. The next time the metronome starts, what I do, I try to think of calming myself from that stressor and trying to imagine what it would feel like not to have that stressor there. So really for me, my goal is, what would I like to feel like? What do I want to feel? And when I did this exercise, I had no idea this is what I was going to be doing, but what I apparently wanted to feel was that I could just go rip that python off of me and have it flying against the wall, or just away into space, guts and everything. So it got rid of the python and it made me feel in control, powerful and in control. Then we go back in again and we imagine the stressor. So this time I'm imagining the claustrophobia and the metaphor of the python for 30 seconds. And it's a little bit less stressful for me this time. Then the 30 seconds are up, and now the metronome starts, and I close my eyes, and I reimagine myself breaking through, ripping that python off of me and breaking through, so that I feel, first of all, free, that I can move, and strong and in control. So we will be doing that back and forth for 10 to 15 minutes. And what you should notice is each time we go into the cycle where you're imagining the stressor, it is feeling less and less stressful. And there may come a point where you feel, that's it, it's gone. You don't feel it anymore. You're cured, basically. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start this, and I am going to you don't need to see anything, so I'm just going to put my phone down and start the metronome and give you guidance. Okay, so your eyes should be closed, or they can stay open. You're going to do back and forth movements of your eyes or the butterfly touch on your clavicle with your fingers. And we're going to do this for about 30 seconds, and I want you to imagine the stressor or the fear that's in your life right now. Okay, so I hope you were able to visualize a stressor or a fear, and perhaps visualize a metaphor to represent that. But now we're going to go into the calming stage. So we're going to do the exact same thing, moving our eyes back and forth, or that cross-armed, cross-hand butterfly tapping on the with your fingers on your clavicle to the sound of the metronome. But this time we're going to imagine the stressor being reduced somehow. And if you can use imagery or metaphor, the goal is think of how you want to feel. Okay? So I'm going to put my phone back down so you see nothing. And getting ready to start. Okay, the next step is for us to go back into imagining, thinking of the that which is causing you fear or stress or depression during these times. And if you're just thinking about the thing like money, 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 fine. Or if you have gotten to the point where you're thinking of a metaphor to represent that, you know, you might, for example, say that money is your concern. You might imagine the Monopoly board and some of the pieces on the Monopoly board that you, as a big, giant person compared to those little dinky houses, that you could just crush and destroy. So you have control over those finances. You might not in reality have control over them, but what you want to do is gain control over the feeling. Okay, so this is about focusing on what your body feels like and gaining control over that. Okay, so we're going into the relaxation phase where we're imagining the stressor being eliminated. Okay, now we're going to go into the same thing. This time imagining the stressor or the fear-provoking phenomenon or whatever is making you feel depressed or whatever you've been working on, and imagining it, just focusing on it, paying attention to how you feel in your body. And I want you to notice if you're feeling less stressed about that, or less fearful, or less depressed. Okay? Ready? Okay, did you notice the stressor becoming a little bit less intense? Let's now go back again to visualizing a metaphor or whatever we can, like me ripping that python off of me, to feel free and in control of my circumstances or not oppressed by them. So you're going to be focusing on the feeling in your body, how you want to feel. The goal is, what would you like to be feeling with respect to whatever stressor you guys have been thinking about during this exercise. Okay? Here we go. Sorry, I slowed it way down. Okay, now we're going to do one more where we're going to go down into imagining the stressor itself. And I want you to see whether you're feeling calmer, more in control, less stress, less anxiety, less depression about whatever topic you have been thinking about. Okay? Here we go. Okay, now I would like to end this by having us do one more session where we are imagining ourselves dealing with the stressor, being in control of the fear, whatever metaphor you have come up with, like my ripping the python off of me, because I want us to end the session with you feeling up on a positive note. Okay? So that's where we're going to go now. And let's go. Okay, so this video will be available to you anytime you want, and you can do this as many times as you need to, not just during this current situation, but at any time where you feel that you need a little bit more control over your life. All right, that's it for now, and I am now going to make a Spanish version of this. Bye-bye.